Welcome, fellow Taoists, back to the 1991 Review Channel. Today, this humble one would like to discuss with you chapters 163 and 164 of A Record of Mortal's Journey to Immortality, delving deep into the transformations of old Devil Han's state of mind upon his return to his homeland. Comprehensive analysis of episodes 163 plus 164. What Han saw, what Han thought. Before we begin, some fellow Taoists have suggested that these two chapters are slow-paced and intended to drag things out. This humble one begs to state once more, the great Tao cultivation is about cultivating the heart. Cultivating Qi is merely the foundation, while cultivating the mind is the true root, when penning A Record of a Mortal's Journey to Immortality. Perhaps the great author Wang Yu's own cultivation was not yet profound, his worldly experience not yet deep enough. He was just past 30, having just passed the age of establishing oneself, not yet the age of knowing the mandate of heaven. Coupled with pressure from fellow Taoists eagerly awaiting each chapter, the element of cultivating the mind in the original work was not explored to its fullest extent. This has led many to feel that Han Li is overly emotionless. His Tao heart is hard and barren as stone. But for those fellow Taoists who have followed Han Li's footsteps long enough, contemplated deeply enough, they will realize he was never a heartless person. Deep within his heart, there has always existed profound attachment to his family, an endless remorse for not being able to stay by their side, fulfill his filial duties. However, to truly empathize with this, one needs affinity and a perceptive heart. For the general audience, if the production team did not meticulously portray this, it would be difficult to grasp the meaning of cultivating the mind. Therefore, as you may have noticed, both the 3D animated version and the live-action adaptation have added many details related to the development of Han Li's mental state. I shall say this much. If any fellow Taoist still complains, well, perhaps it's best to stop watching. Now, on to the main content of this discussion. I will go into detail about what Han Li saw and thought. The arising of obsession. Things change. Stars shift. The homeland becomes alien. Any cultivator, after a long period of seclusion or travel, upon returning home, yearns to find the familiar sights deeply etched in their memories. But for Han Li, nearly 200 years is a period of cataclysmic change. The homeland in his mind no longer exists. He can only stand amidst an unfamiliar reality and use his spiritual sense to reminisce. Fellow Taoists, remember the scene of the family of four in episode 163? On the surface, it was a warm family, but if observed with spiritual eyes, one would notice something unusual. The parents were dressed in fine garments, and while not top-grade magic robes, they were certainly not cheap. Yet, their two children wore coarse, heavily patched clothes, completely incongruous with their family's apparent status. Given the love shown by the parents, this is illogical. The only explanation is this. Han Li had used his own obsession to overlay the scene before him, projecting the images of himself and his younger sister from long ago onto those two children. Thinking back, it is truly heartbreaking, isn't it? To return to one's birthplace and find not a single piece of memory, forced to borrow the scenery to stir emotions, using illusions to comfort one's own trembling Tao heart. That sorrow intensified and condensed into an inner demon when he stepped into Han family's ancestral hall. What he saw were not his loved ones, but the cold, soulless memorial tablets of his father, his mother, and his younger sister. They had turned to dust. The only things proving they ever existed in this world were those lifeless tablets. Han Li had returned, but so when they were no longer there? Hearing the choked emotion in his voice as he said those words, you can surely feel it too. If this continued, it's fear that an inner demon would have consumed him, making it impossible for Han Li to ever break through to the next realm. But as the saying goes, what is sown will be reaped. His karmic opportunity had arrived. Han Rui and Li Feng appeared, and this was the first step for him to slay his inner demon. Karmic reunion. The image of old friends, untying the knot of obsession. It is no coincidence that Han Rui and Li Feng bear such a resemblance to Han Li and Li Feiyu. This is a deliberate arrangement by the heavens, or more accurately, by the production team. They are a perfect replica. Regarding their relationship, despite their different statuses, they comfortably address each other as brothers, not bothering with formalities. Just like in the past, even though Han Li was a fire devil in the eyes of the Seven Mysteries sect to Li Feiyu, he was always a virtuous brother Han, whom he was willing to protect. Regarding their roles, it is still one who advances and one who retreats. The one surnamed Han is resourceful and strategic, while the one surnamed Li is valiant and skilled in combat. When fighting together, they cooperate with perfect synergy. Regarding their appearance and demeanor, both carry the bloodline and the spirit of their ancestors. This humble one believes that not only us, but Han Li himself, upon seeing these two descendants, immediately saw the image of himself and his sworn brother without needing to resort to any imagined illusions. At the very least, he had found something familiar, a connection. His obsession began to be soothed. But no matter how similar, a copy is not the original. The detail of Han Rui proposing to confirm Han Li's identity with a token is the key. It shows the caution of an intelligent man, and it was also the karmic opportunity for Han Li to truly touch something he knew, something he had truly seen and held before. A tear to slay the demon, the cleansing of the Tao heart. And then Han Li's tears fell. The tears of a cultivator are as heavy as Mount Tai, shed only when the Tao heart can no longer contain its emotions. The feeling of sorrow and helplessness from being unable to find anything familiar had weighed on his mental state like a mountain. When the token from the past appeared, that burden was suddenly lifted. No matter how resilient his Tao heart, no matter how steadfast his will, Han Li could not hide his emotions. Were those tears of sorrow or joy? Only Han Li knows. But for us, it was the moment his obsession was released. The knot in his mental state had been greatly loosened. A layer of his inner demon had been slain. The Tao fruit comes to fruition. The cycle of karma, a wish fulfilled. The knot had been loosened, but not completely untied. This is because concern still lingered in Han Li's heart. For the sake of cultivation, he had left his family, unable to care for his parents and younger sister. The most crucial plot point for Han Li to achieve a complete and perfect Tao heart was when Han Rui recounted the story of how his parents and sister had used their wealth to save the entire Han clan. Let us recall, Han Li's family was originally very poor. So where did the wealth and provisions to save the entire clan come from? It was all thanks to Han Li, the cause that he had sown. The silver taels he continuously sent home from the Seven Mysteries sect not only helped his family escape poverty and allowed his younger sister to marry a good husband, but also became a foundation that saved an entire clan, creating the sweet effect of the Han family's rise today. Thanks to that merit, his family's branch was revered by the entire clan as the main branch, solemnly worshipped in the ancestral hall. At this moment, Han Li truly understood. Even though he had traveled thousands of miles away, even though he had never personally cared for his loved ones for a single day, he had always fulfilled his duty as a son, a brother, and a member of the clan, in the only way a cultivator could. The clearest evidence of this enlightenment is the image of the two portraits in the back hall. One portrait was of a solitary Han Li on the path of cultivation. The other was of his family. The two paintings represent two states of mind. He had originally thought he was walking his path alone, leaving his family behind. But upon reaching this understanding, he realized he had always been journeying with them, just in a different manner. When Han Li put brush to paper, painting himself into the family portrait, his image became clear on the canvas. The last little entanglement in his Tao heart completely vanished. The wish of this return journey had been truly and completely fulfilled. The journey of old Devil Han is still filled with countless mysteries. To continue digging deep, discussing, and not missing any precious details with 1991 Review, fellow Taoists, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and gently ring the notification bell next to it. See you in the next discussion of the Tao.